I got injured September 25th, 2021 at the Pacific game, right after I scored a banger of a goal. And my mindset when I went down was, why aren't you getting up? Because I've never had a serious injury before. So I was confused as to why I was in so much pain. And after, I just didn't take it seriously as an injury. So it was a lot of just pain is normal, play through it, and that's how I was for the rest of that season. My injury was a torn labrum in my left hip. It was an impact tear, not a wear and tear, which is more common, especially in athletes. And I didn't get a diagnosis until after the soccer season ended, after that winter break of that semester, because I didn't want to believe it was a real injury. And so it wasn't until about March that I went in for an x-ray, April that I went in for an MRI, and I got to meet with the surgeon after that and scheduled surgery for May of 2022, which would put me on the path to be able to recover enough to play in my senior season last year. But that didn't happen, so I got COVID in May, the same month I was scheduled for surgery, and I had to postpone the surgery 10 weeks because of needing to go under anesthesia and the risk of like a respiratory illness and that. And then I didn't get my surgery until the end of June, which meant even if everything went according to plan and smoothly, I just would not be cleared to participate in last season. It was really difficult not being able to play and having to be in the team atmosphere, because I love it so much, and it really sucked that no matter how hard I wanted it, it just wasn't possible for me to play. Luckily, my teammates are awesome, and so all of them were really supported and made me feel like part of the team, even though I was only there for home games and half of practice I was doing rehab in the training room. So it was really hard, lots of tears at first, but then I kind of just got excited and I was like, if I'm going to be a cheerleader, I'm going to be the best cheerleader this team has. And so I just screamed for my team as much as I could. The decision to fifth year and that timeline kind of worked out where I needed to take an extra class my spring semester of senior year to be able to graduate in May. And that just was not going to be feasible with taking my capstone and having other challenging courses that same semester. So I found out I was going to probably need to stay. And I talked to Sharon Sexton, who was like, you just need to take one major requirement. And in the fall to be eligible, which was awesome, because I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I don't even want to know financial anything. Like, I have one more year of soccer, I'm going to do it. And then I was planning to play in senior game just to start, maybe kick a ball. I was going to beg Jeremy and the team doc to let me play that full game. I was doing great in my rehab, and so I had an appointment scheduled with the team doc at some point in the fall before November, and the premise was that I was going to be evaluated to see where my hip was at and how dangerous it would be to let me play in that game and if I would be able to be cleared. And luckily that came the same week that we were figuring this out with my credits. So Jeremy and I go into the doctor's office. Jeremy starts saying Chloe wants to participate in senior game, and I was just like, let me stop you right there. I'm gonna fifth year. Like, you can still check me out. And then it ended up I was cleared. Like, I passed the 6-month evaluation point at like 3.5 months, and it was a really awesome feeling. But I was just so excited to be able to have an extra opportunity to play. Getting back to soccer after the injury was really difficult for me. It was the longest break I've ever gone from soccer. I have to thank Gina Parisi for everything she did, because after my surgery, I was in the training room, started off like twice a week to 3 times a week to every single day, and Gina was always there. She would curate my personal rehab for the day, and that's the reason why I was so ahead of like the normal timeline. So I'm super thankful for all of her help. And then from there, it was just getting back into shape. The bummer is I hate running, so that was not the funnest part for me. But once I was able to start getting touches, it was scary because I didn't have as much control over my touches as I used to. I couldn't kick it as far, I couldn't run as fast, and so I got really nervous this past summer and going into preseason, worried about like my skill level and if I was going to be able to be where I was at pre-injury and pre-surgery. And luckily, like, me and my friend Giselle were here in the summer every week, just kicking it around and shooting and having fun and playing dumb games that would help me get in shape but also distract me from the fact that I was running. And then preseason came, I had to calm down because I was just too excited and too hyper. And then I started getting back into the rhythm of things, and it just, like, everything just clicked and fell back into place. It's been so good to have one last chance with soccer after this time last year being, like, begging to play one last game. Because I've been married to this sport for almost 20 years, and I needed closure. And one kind of semi-game at senior night wasn't going to cut it for me. And so being here and being able to play again, it feels really good. And I'm excited to kind of go out with a bang and end on a good note and a positive note and a healthy note.